The woman standing outside the grocery store looked nothing like the daughter I had raised. Her coat was torn at the sleeves. Her shoes were soaked. She held a tiny can of baby formula against her chest, as if it were the most valuable thing in the world. Then she looked up. "Dad." My heart stopped. It was Emily, my daughter. I had not seen her in almost 2 years. I was carrying groceries to my car when I noticed her counting coins beside the store entrance. She looked exhausted, thinner than I remembered, with dark circles under her eyes. A small baby blanket was wrapped around something in her arms. "Emily," I whispered. She immediately turned away. "Please, Dad, just go." I stepped closer. "What happened to you?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Nothing. I'm fine. You're standing outside a grocery store counting coins for baby formula. That's not fine." She looked down at the blanket. "My daughter needs it." I froze. "You have a child?" Emily nodded. I had never known. 2 years earlier, Emily had left my house after a terrible argument. Her husband, Mark, had convinced her that I was controlling and selfish. When she chose him over me, I stopped calling. But seeing her like this made my anger disappear. "Come home," I said softly. She shook her head. "I can't." "Why?" She looked around nervously before whispering. "Because Mark will find me." My stomach tightened. "Mark? Where is he?" Emily's face changed. "He knows where you live." I felt a cold wave move through me. "Why are you afraid of your own husband?" She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Then the baby began crying. Emily quickly pulled the blanket tighter. "Dad, there's something I need to tell you." I reached for her hand. "Tell me everything." She looked directly into my eyes, and the first words out of her mouth made me realize that the daughter I thought had abandoned me might have been running for her life. I drove Emily to a small motel across town because she refused to come directly to my house. She kept looking through the rear window. "Dad, please don't tell anyone I'm here. You're my daughter." "I won't." The baby slept quietly in her arms. Her name was Lily, my granddaughter. I stared at that tiny face and felt ashamed that I had missed her entire life. Inside the motel room, Emily finally began talking. "Mark lost his job last year," she said. "Then he started gambling." I clenched my jaw. He borrowed money from everyone. When people stopped lending him cash, he started taking mine. "What about your mother?" She tried to help. Mark told her I was the problem. That sounded familiar. Emily looked at me. "He made everyone believe I was unstable. He told them you were dangerous and that I was afraid of you." I remembered every message I had received from Emily. "Leave me alone. I don't want you in my life. Stop trying to control me." Now I understood why the words had never sounded like her. "What happened last night?" I asked. Emily lowered her eyes. "Mark came home angry. Lily hadn't eaten properly because we were out of formula. I asked him to buy some. And he laughed. My hands tightened into fists. He told me I should sell something. What did you sell? Emily pulled a small gold necklace from her pocket. It was the necklace I had given her on her 18th birthday. I sold it yesterday. I felt tears burn my eyes. Emily, she continued. Then I found something in Mark's bag. What? A folder. She hesitated. There were bank statements, property papers, and a life insurance policy. My heart began pounding. Whose policy? Emily looked at me. Mine. Silence filled the room. He had taken out a policy without telling me, she whispered. And the beneficiary wasn't Lily. Then who? Emily's hands began shaking. Before she could answer, someone knocked hard on the motel door. 3 times. Emily went completely pale. Dad. Another knock came. Then a man's voice spoke from the hallway. Emily, I know you're in there. It was Mark. And he wasn't alone. I moved Emily and Lily into the bathroom and quietly locked the door. Then I stood near the entrance. Mark knocked again. Open the door. I didn't answer. His voice became colder. I know you're hiding her. I looked through the peephole. Mark stood outside with another man. The second man was holding a folder. I immediately understood something was wrong. I called the police without making a sound. Then I opened the door just enough to block their view inside. Can I help you? Mark stared at me. You stole my wife. No. Your wife came to me. You have no right to interfere. I smiled calmly. You're right. I don't have the right to interfere in your marriage. But I have every right to protect my daughter and granddaughter. Mark's face hardened. You don't know what you're talking about. I know enough. He stepped closer. You should stay out of this. I noticed the other man's folder. Who's he? Neither answered. A few minutes later, police arrived. Mark tried to explain everything away, but Emily came out of the bathroom carrying Lily. She was shaking. This is him, she said. He threatened me. Mark immediately denied it. Then I handed the officer copies of the documents Emily had found. The life insurance policy, the bank statements, the property papers. But there was something else. A payment record showed Mark had transferred money to the same man standing beside him. The man wasn't a friend. He was a lawyer. And the property papers revealed something that made my blood run cold. Mark had been trying to sell the house Emily and Lily were living in. A house that wasn't his. It belonged to Emily. Her grandmother had left it to her years before. Mark had secretly forged documents claiming she had signed ownership over to him. But Emily hadn't signed anything. The police took both men away for questioning. For the first time in years, I felt that my daughter was safe. Then Emily looked at me. Dad, there's still one thing you don't know. What? She pulled another document from her bag. This is why I never came home. I read the first page. My hands went numb. The document contained my name, my signature, and a statement saying I had agreed to give Mark control of my company. I had never signed it. Someone had forged my signature. Emily looked at me through her tears. Dad, I think Mark didn't just want my house. He wanted everything you owned. And suddenly, I realized this wasn't only about saving my daughter. It was about finding out who had helped him. The next morning, I called my attorney. We reviewed every document Mark had created. The forged signature on my company papers, the fake property transfer, the insurance policy, the bank records. Then we discovered something even worse. The person who had helped Mark was my former business partner, Daniel. Daniel had worked beside me for 15 years. He had access to my old signatures, company records, and financial documents. He had also been the person who kept telling me that Emily was selfish and dangerous. I finally understood. He had spent years pushing my daughter away from me because he wanted access to my company. But he had made one mistake. He underestimated Emily. With the police and attorneys involved, we gathered every piece of evidence. The forged documents were traced back to Daniel's computer. Bank transfers connected him to Mark. Security footage showed them meeting several times before Emily disappeared. Within weeks, both men faced serious charges. But I didn't stop there. I recovered Emily's house and transferred complete ownership back into her name. Then I did something Mark never expected. I gave Emily a job at my company. Not because she was my daughter, because she had survived everything he put her through and still protected her child. Months later, Emily and Lily moved into their restored home. One evening, we sat together in the backyard. Lily was learning to walk. Emily looked at me. Dad, I'm sorry I left. I shook my head. You don't have to apologize for surviving. She started crying. I thought you hated me. I never hated you. I was hurt. She reached across the table and held my hand. For years, I had believed losing my daughter was the greatest betrayal of my life. I was wrong. The greatest betrayal was believing the lies that separated us. Emily looked toward Lily and smiled. She saved me. I smiled back. No, you saved yourself. I just finally found you. That night, I watched my daughter laugh with her little girl, and I realized something I would never forget. Sometimes the person you think abandoned you is actually the person who has been waiting for you to believe them. And sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying the people who hurt you. It's rebuilding the life they tried to take from you and becoming happier without them.